What is going on, everybody? This is Yesarethat, and today I am reviewing Baptism of Fire by Andrzej Sapkowski. This book is the third novel in the Witcher series and the fifth book overall about The Witcher, and I have to say I really enjoyed it. I was a bit confused because I actually thought this was the last book in the novel series that was like about Geralt and Ciri. But apparently it isn't. I was really confused, and the book set fooled me because there's a book set with the 3 books I read so far, and I thought, if they're packaged in one set, then that's probably the wrap up. But it isn't. So let's talk about the content of the book, then I'll give you my likes and dislikes and my score. Oh, and if you're unfamiliar with the series, then watch my review of The Last Wish. This is the book where the Witcher character is introduced, and it's a really good book, so check that out. So the story starts off with Geralt still recovering in Brokilon with the Dryads. He meets a new character, and it's a woman called Milva who works with Dryads and Elves, and she helps, I think, injured elves to get to safety again. And Geralt asks her the favor of checking out what is going on out there in the world and getting news about Ciri. Eventually, he decides to leave Brokilon in search for Ciri because he wants to rescue her from the Nilfgaardian Emperor, who in the last book had a girl delivered, but we know that it's not Ciri, but a lot of the important people in this book still think that it was actually the real Ciri. And the heir of Cintra and also bearer of the Elder Blood, so a very important character. So on his way into the south, he meets Dandelion and they decide to travel together, and Milva also decides to follow him because she wants to make sure that he doesn't actually go south, because he will probably die. In the south there's a huge clash between different kingdoms and the Scoia'tael and Nilfgaard, so she fears for his life and wants to warn him. But Geralt is 100% convinced that he needs to find and save Ciri, so Milva actually decides to join him instead and to show him the safest passage. They also get accompanied by a group of dwarves later and one gnome, and together they set off to the river Yaruga to cross it and to get into the Nilfgaard territory. To achieve this, they are traveling through deserted and slaughtered villages in the aftermath of what is a huge war going on all around them. They are also followed by a Nilfgaardian, and we know him because he's the one who saved Ciri in Cintra, and we also saw him at Thanedd where the sorcerer meeting was. And Geralt doesn't want to have anything to do with him because he's Nilfgaardian and because Ciri always had nightmares of that guy, so he only leaves him alive because he saved Ciri once, and the guy still follows them in a distance. The atmosphere is quite grim with a lot of death and decay going on around them, a huge war all around them. They basically are on a mission to hide and on a stealth mission because none of the armies should see them and they don't really have any friends there. They go on and meet another incredible character called Regis, and I'm not gonna go into why he is so good because that would be kind of a spoiler, but let me just say that the characters in this book get so much better and it's really a relief because that's what I wanted before. But I'll talk about it more later. All this time, Yennefer and Vilgefortz are still completely missing. We only get to know more about them later in the book, but I don't really want to spoil everything for you, so I'm just gonna stop here and you'll have to read it yourself to find out more. I want to talk about the characters a bit before I give you my likes and dislikes, because the characters in this book are really good again. And the first one I want to talk about is Milva, who is this strong woman. She is incredibly skilled with her bow and arrow, and she is a friend of the elves and the dryads and decides to help Geralt on his journey. I really enjoyed her character of a stronger female and also her development that she got. I'm not really going to tell you what it was, but it's really amazing and very well executed in my opinion. And the next characters are the dwarves and the gnome that decide to accompany him, or basically Geralt decides to tag along with them. And these guys are super interesting as well. They are obviously warriors and they have some background as well, which is, I really love this when books hint at backgrounds of characters, but you just don't get to know them because it makes the world seem so vibrant and so alive. Basically, these guys are super funny, they're very comedic, but they can also be serious and very helpful at times. So it's a great compliment to the group we already have, and I really enjoyed it. I really like this multitude of characters that the previous books had sometimes, and it kind of comes back in this one. And the last character is also great. He is Regis, and as I said, I'm not going to talk too much about him, but I really enjoyed him. I think he was actually my favorite character in the book, and yeah, that guy is really cool. So let's talk about my likes. As I just said, these amazing new characters are awesome. I really enjoyed that. The next thing is that the world building in this book is top notch again. It is not forced upon you, but instead it really develops with the characters you see all the time. The action was really good as well. Obviously, in the middle of a war zone, there are just some things that you will come across, and sometimes you will just have to defend yourself. Sometimes something completely unforeseen happens again, and you know, it's a bit more unpredictable again. I just really enjoyed this book. And as before, the writing of the book was pretty engaging and pretty good again. My only dislike would be that the pacing seemed to suffer a bit, but maybe that's what I just thought because I always thought that this was the last book in the series, and I don't know, I wanted to see more of Ciri and more of Yennefer again, but obviously that's going to come in the next book, so I just didn't know about it and always felt like I want more action and I want faster pacing. So overall, my score for this book is an 8 out of 10. In my opinion, this is almost as good again as The Last Wish, but still not quite. It's a great read. If you've read the previous Witcher books, I would just highly recommend you to read it. And I think after this, I'm really convinced that the Witcher series is just awesome and, in my opinion, pretty underrated because I don't think a lot of people read it. I just never saw it recommended anywhere. I stumbled across the series pretty randomly, actually. But yeah, I really recommend this. Great book. I think I'm gonna read the last two books as well and review them soon, but I still need to buy them, so maybe not next week. But we'll see, we'll see. Yeah, so after talking about my score, I want to talk a bit about some spoilers, because maybe some of you read the book and want to discuss them. So here goes, don't keep watching if you didn't read the book. So first of all, Milva, as I said, I thought this character was already pretty interesting. And then we got this foreshadowing that she was pregnant, obviously, because she always had to vomit. And Geralt didn't really get it until the very end of the book. And in the end of the book, the character development of her and Geralt, that was just so cool to see. And, you know, she had this huge conflict because she wanted to be this very strong woman. But if you have a kid, obviously you're getting weaker and weaker and less useful, and it's just really hard for her, and I really enjoyed that part of the book. The next character I want to talk about is obviously Regis, and I can finally say it now, he is so cool because he's a vampire and he always had this air of mystery around him, and you could kind of tell that he's not a normal person, but until we got confirmation I wasn't really sure what to make of him. And there were hints, of course, but when it finally was clear and when he still joined them later on and he explained that he doesn't drink blood anymore, and we got some more vampire lore, which was just amazing way to build out the world, like to show what vampires do in this world, and just a really cool guy. I really enjoyed that, and his powers are super interesting. Yeah, I just really like this. I often said in the previous books that I wanted more like random characters and weird beings like in The Last Wish, and this is finally where you really get that. The next thing that I didn't mention before was that Yennefer obviously joined this council, the secret council of sorcerers who want to forge the future of magic, and she manages to escape from there and to teleport away with the help of a Nilfgaardian sorceress, and we don't really know where she's landing. We don't really know what the Nilfgaardian sorceress does or wants to do with this and how she did it, but it's just super cool teaser. I just want more of it. But yeah, also really cool aspect of the book. And lastly, Ciri, I didn't really talk about what she is doing, but she is obviously part of the bandits, and she apparently just dances around and developed a certain bloodlust and started killing people, which I don't know what she's doing or what that is all about, but I'm sure we are gonna find out in the next books. So yeah, if you read the book, obviously let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, make sure to drop a like and maybe sub to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye!